going on, guys? Hoy es mi cumpleaños. 33 años. For those non-Spanish speaking people, today's my birthday. 33 years old. That's awesome. I've had one hell of a weekend. I spent most of the weekend in Pre-Cana with my fiance because we're looking to get married and we're going to get married in the Catholic Church, so things you got to do. So talking about my feelings for about 16 hours over the past 2 days, it's really wiped me out. So what's the next best thing? Let's do a video on some new things that I got. And one of my new toys that I got in the mail is Smoke Eater 908's Mini Heat. I couldn't pass up on that Black Friday deal. So I had to get one. I wanted to see what it was all about. And let's take a detailed look at this and let's put it to the test against a couple other stoves that I got, and let's see what this puppy's got. Let's get into it. Okay, so here she is, the Mini Heat. It's based on the specs. This is all milled out on one piece of aluminum, so this doesn't screw on or off. It's basically, it is what it is. This is a remote fed alcohol type stove. This is carbon felt. That is like a micro line port. And I'd take this felt apart, and I already did, and put it back together is it's a pain in the ass, just to let you know. So what it is, it's one piece of carbon felt rolled up, placed down there, and there's two circles. There's one circle that kind of fits inside this inner circle here. I'm not going to explain that correctly. I'm kind of silly. And then another bigger circle on top. So it all kind of comes together, and it's supposed to basically soak up some wick. The weight on this bad boy is 14 grams, even, or 0.4 ounces. And so it's actually, the specs are basically spot on. And what's really nice about this is that it's actually got a wider base than some of the other stoves that I have. I would say the way it's designed, it kind of needs a little bit of a wider base because the top is kind of wide and it's going to be top heavy. Whereas the other stoves that I have, which I'll get into on its head-to-head competition, don't really have a top heavy type thing, so a wider base isn't really needed. But to date, this is one of my lightest stoves right here. So let's weigh this bad boy. Let's see here. There is scale. Turn this thing on so you guys can see. You can see that. That's 14 grams, 0.4 ounces. That's what she looks like. Let's take a look at some other stoves, and you can see some of the differences, and I'll explain kind of why I chose each stove in my ever ongoing search for a stove that's going to be reliable out in the field. Alright, okay, here we are with my progression in alcohol stoves. Line this up. Right there is the Mini Atomic, which is a pressurized stove, whereas alcohol gets fed in. Actually, let me show you. So it's got a knob. It's basically one of those penny stoves. Mine is a little more elaborate from Mini Volt Designs. And you feed in the alcohol in here, throw on the cap, bam, and you light the wick out here. What that does is that it heats up the alcohol inside and vaporizes it, and then as the vapor escapes out of the ports, it lights, and then that causes the flame jets. You place this on top, and well, it boils your water. It's pretty simple as that. The reason why I started to look for something else is the fuel economy in it. You really have to guess it. And if you think about the way I hike when I can because my work is demanding, and I don't really get off that much. And so it could be spring, could be fall, could be winter. So I wasn't able to dial in exactly how much alcohol I need in this particular stove to boil 2 cups of water. And who know, The temperature in the water could be different. The outside temperature could be different. It was just really hard to really guess. And more often than not, I would either have too much fuel in here, and if I even had to let it burn it off and waste the fuel, or you can't really store it because the fuel leaks out of the jets. So it was kind of it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And then the times where you have not enough fuel and you didn't boil your water, you have to wait for this thing to cool down to unscrew the thing and put the alcohol in. So then your water is losing its temperature, and it's just it became a joke. It was a pain in the ass. I'm trying to keep my language pretty clean in this one. I could say a few things about this, but the good thing about this is it burns really hot. I think it burns hotter than these wick stoves, but we're gonna put that to the test eventually tonight. Then Mini Bull Designs came up with this is called the Bongo High Nipple Cab. He doesn't make this anymore. If you were to compare this with something, I would probably say you can compare this to the M1 stove that he has out there. This is a little bit heavier than the M1 stove that he has. I think he has it at 21 grams. I have this clocked in at 27 grams, so it's about 6 grams more. Again, it's got a fuel line at the top, which allows it to fill up the reservoir. It has a carbon felt wick, and there's a reservoir. I don't know if you can see that, maybe a little closer. And there you go. You just kind of fills it up, spark it, flame comes out. And the great thing about this is I can actually control how much alcohol I want to use, so I can just put in maybe a 1/4 ounce of alcohol, burn it, and when this thing starts glowing red, I know I have to add more, and just when the water boils, I can stop feeding alcohol to the stove, therefore saving a lot of fuel, and it cuts down the learning curve when it comes to judging how much I need for this. I don't have to judge. I could just keep feeding alcohol and achieve the boil that I want. I've noticed that I do get, this would probably boil 2 cups of water in about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. We're actually going to put this to the test tonight. And this, I would guess, would be a little bit longer by at least 2 or 3 minutes. And then here is the Smoke Eater 908 stove. This is 27 ounces or 27 grams or 0.9 ounces. This is 14 grams or 0.4 ounces. So that's basically cutting my my weight in half. Not only that, but if you notice, this has a lot more exposed wick than this particular stove. So I'm hoping, and again, we are going to put this bad boys to the test, that this would actually achieve a quicker boil time than this one. But we will find out. And so that's basically the stoves that I have at this point in time. You know what? Let me, so you don't think I'm a liar. Remember, this one right here was 14 grams. Let's do the Mini Atomic, and we're looking at 14 grams as well, which is 0.4 ounces. And this is the Bongo High Nipple Cab, comparable to the M1. That's 0.9 ounces or 28 grams. That's, I don't think I've ever, I didn't show you guys. There's 28 grams, 0.9 ounces, and there's the Mini Atomic, and that is 0.4 ounces or 13 grams. So it likes to change its mind. Alright, so let's get into some boiling.